Hello, dear students. Welcome to the Bajirao IAS Academy. Today is 18th January and we are going to cover the daily Hindu newspaper analysis. So, in today's session, we are going to cover two important issues. The first issue is related to the fading role of university in society. One question I will be asking to you that why the people or the students went to the college or the schools? Yes, to express their freedom of speech and expression that our constitution had gave. But what happens when these freedom of speech and expressions are not getting its position, when you are not able to express your desire? So this will be restricting your critical thinking. So in this article there is a discussion that in the recent times UGC, that is University Grant Commission's role as a regulator, are having the political influence as well. So we will be looking this matter in detail. Then further, we will be shifting to the second editorial where the main focus will be on the delisting of some Kuki Jomi tribes in the Manipur, and here we will be focusing that how the delisting of the tribes occur and why this issue came into the news. As you already know that Manipur is facing the crisis of violence, ethnic violence, and still there is no solution at all, but we will be analyzing in that angle. So let's start our discussion. But before that, if you are new to our channel, then definitely like, share, as well as subscribe. So let's start with our discussion. The first article you can relate with GS paper 3. So as we already told you that the people or the children goes to the schools specifically to express their freedom of speech and expression, to learn, to debate, discussion, developing critical thinking, innovative thinking. All of these are included. But here, whenever there is a political influence arises, so there can be the restrictions on critical thinking. Maybe the institutions will be in the defensive mode to express their cons behavior towards the government. So in this article there are series of examples like the recent UGC discussions, the recent UCG notices that showcase that the UGC is trying to have the political influence. Like we have the example. Recently, there was a directive from the UGC to display the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao logo in the colleges. Okay, and apart from that, there was mandate that during the G20 summit there should be G20 awareness, Swachhata campaign, and even in the recent time, specifically when the election is approaching. So you are seeing that at various location, PM selfie points is being created to capture the photo. Okay, so this is also visible in the colleges as well. So what does this showcase? The growing political influence on the university. So tell me one thing, that a student should be neutral or biased? Definitely should be neutral so that they can judge the issue accordingly without biasness. So that's why the college or the university have the autonomy, independence in the decision making, removing the political influence. But if this influence gets on, then there can be the challenge on the critical thinking, there can be the impact on the research scenario as well. Okay, so this threatens the core concept of university as a space for free thought and dissent. And when we talk about dissent, that means to not agree. So let's say government announces any policy, any scheme. So there is a people that will favor, but there is also people that may not favor. So we have to give a space to both the community or the people, so that the participatory democracy should exist, and there is a right to dissent as well. Okay, so that is the thing which has been highlighted, and we have the various examples from the past as well, like the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, cancelled a discussion on the UAPA. And what is this UAPA? Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So on this topic, there was discussion organized, but it was cancelled because maybe some criticism of the government can be delivered here. So it can be this anger. And apart from that, the JNU imposes fines for protest in the campus, like 20,000 rupee fine if there will be the protest in the campus, but later it was withdrawn. And also, there was two scholars who resigned from Asoka University after publishing a paper which was critical to the ruling party. Okay, so these are the examples that we have showcased that the article is giving. So what we can conclude here, that the political interference, if increases, if exists in the college or the university, so it can have the impact on critical thinking. Maybe we will be thinking only in the plus point of the government, but government do have the criticism as well. So if there will be political influence, so constructive criticism will not be allowed in that way. So there can be a challenge on the open debate and discussion. And you know that critical thinking, open debate, it's very, very important for a healthy democracy, because in democracy there is the existence of dissent as well. And in college and university, the youths are mainly to develop their critical thinking, not to develop the biasness. So that is one thing. And apart from that, if we try to restrict the freedom of speech, so it can also hurt the academic work and research. Specifically, the quality will be getting affected. And also, there is a report from the VDAM Institute which highlights that India and the Indian institution have low academic freedom ranking. So in the academics there is low freedom of expression which has been highlighted, and the score is 0.38. This score varies from 0 to 1. So 1, that means good academic freedom, and if it is very low, that means less academic freedom. So that is one thing. So now we will be discussing about the constitutional safeguards. Although we know that in our constitution, freedom of speech and expression is a fundamental right under Article 19 of the constitution. So we have the rights to have a freedom of speech and expression. Although there is a restrictive or the reasonable restrictions as well, but constructive criticism cannot become a reasonable restrictions. But now we are seeing the implementation of sedition law, section 295A, defamation lawsuits, which are often misused to silence the dissency, to silence the voice of the constructive criticism. So it has been highlighted in this article. So there can be the erosion to the institutional autonomy. Maybe the university or the college will not function according to their independency, and this will be very hurting for the academics sector as well. And we are seeing that the influence of political angle in the appointment of the vice chancellor in the university or the college, and this is also undermining the institutional autonomy. So we have various examples that has been showcased in this article, and it's have a bigger repercussion. So there is a solution which has been suggested here, like whenever the colleges appoint the faculty, so there is a contract. So in the contract there should be the mentioning of inclusion of academic freedom, so that the faculty should also have the right to have the freedom of speech and expression to ensure constructive criticism. And apart from that, there should be university rankings based on the promotion of freedom of speech and expression. And also, there should be system wide protection for academic autonomy and free expression. And we have various examples from other countries, we can learn it. Like in New Zealand, there is an Education Act of New Zealand where even the freedom of academic staff and students are ensured, that are mentioned within the law. So this should be incorporated and be promoted. Okay, so we can conclude here that we are going to celebrate 75th year of 75th year of Republic Day. Okay, so there should be a vision of the mind without fear, which was highlighted by Rabindranath Tagore. So try to observe that whenever there will be the fear, the mind will not be free. And if the mind is not free, you will not be engaged in constructive creation. So that's why we have to give the decency specifically related to constructive criticism, and making sure that the autonomy of the university and colleges should be there. So protecting academic freedom is very, very crucial for a truly democratic and pluralistic society. Okay, otherwise certain sections of the society will having the more influence, and there can be less participatory democracy, and which can also damage the democracy as well. Okay, that's why we have the, like say, committee, the role of opposition. Okay, why there is a role of opposition in democracy? It's all because we need to have the constructive criticism against policy, so that even the government can take benefits from the ideas, from the debates, from the discussions. Okay, and they should incorporate the change. So that is one thing, that is the importance. So autonomy in the institution should be respected, should not have the influence of political dimension. That is the core of this article. Now we are shifting to the second editorial, and it can be related to GS paper 2. Okay, so we are seeing that from 6th to 8th months, Manipur violence, ethnic violence is occurring, and still there is no solution at all. And recently there was a like a suggestion or the statement from the central government to the Manipur government, that there should be the examination related to the delisting of certain Kuki and Jomi tribes that have the existence in Manipur. Okay, and they have the scheduled tribe status. Examination does not mean like taking the examination. It's like whether certain tribes which is in the like Kuki and Jomi tribes, which gets the benefit of ST status, so whether they should be delisted. So that is one thing. Okay, and why this approach is being done, there is a statement from this article that if there is delisting of certain Kuki and Jomi tribe, so there will be the chances of inclusion of Mati community as a scheduled tribe. And kindly understand that in Manipur, the Maithi community is in majority of the population, and the Kuki and Jo tribes have the less population. But Maithi community do not enjoy the scheduled tribe status. However, the latter that we have mentioned, they enjoy the scheduled tribe status. Okay, so with this like recommendation, okay, the Manipur government is going to constitute some committee, okay, that will give the recommendation. So that is one thing. So tell me one thing, that how the delisting of the scheduled tribes occurs. Do you know the process? Well, if you do not know, I am here to tell you. There is a two process of delisting a scheduled tribes. First of all, the president will be notifying the tribes that is going to be delisted. So there will be the notification from the president with some inputs from the concerned state governor. Then the parliament need to pass a law regarding the delisting. Then there will be complete delisting of the scheduled tribes. So that is the scenario. And now you have to tell me, how is the listing of the tribes as a scheduled tribes do occurs? And tell me one thing more, that which schedule in our Indian constitution that talks about the tribal rights as specifically related to the northeastern region. So please tell me in the comment. So in this article, they're just saying that the Methi community like blames that the sum of the community within the Kuki and Jo tribes that enjoy the scheduled tribe status, they try to overexploit the benefits, and due to that there is a cause of organized illegal immigration and then violence, but there is no empirical evidence of this. Okay, so that is one thing you need to understand. Hope you got the point. Now we have already discussed about the Manipur violence. We have discussed lots of article, but here try to also remember for the prelims that the neighboring states that borders Manipur, and also some of the physical features of Manipur like mountains, okay, maybe river, maybe top peak. And already regarding the population distribution, we have told you that Mati community have the majority population and the Kuki-Jo tribes have less population. However, the Kuki-Jo tribes enjoy the ST status, scheduled tribe status, but Mati community do not enjoy that status. Okay, so this is the one thing, and some of the important commissions or the committee which was established earlier, I have extracted out from this article. So try to remember for the prelims. Like first constitution scheduled tribes list was published in 1950. This will be very important for the prelims. Then we have the Lokur Committee 1965 that was set up to look into the criteria for defining the scheduled tribes. And then we have the Bhuria Commission report of 2002-2004 on the scheduled tribes. So UPSC can definitely ask that Bhuria Commission report is related to what, or the Lokur Committee report is related to what. Okay, so that's why I have extracted the points, and this will be benefiting you in terms of the prelims paper, because nowadays factual questions is also being incorporated in the prelims section, as you are seeing in the 2023-2022 paper as well. So kindly ensure that these type of data which is maybe not available in the reference book or the textbook, you should get these points from the article as well. And we have the evidence that many questions do get asked from the paper, newspaper, and let's say the example of science and technology as well. Okay, so that is the thing. Hope you understood. So thank you very much.